This episode of the SWOTOR Escape podcast is brought to you by our two other podcasts. Behind the Games, our game creator interview podcast, just released its third episode, and Seema and I talked to Kathy and Susan of Tertiaps Truncatus Studios, who just released a new iOS game today called The Day We Fought Space. You can find that show on iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher, as well as on our YouTube channel and at newoverlords.com. My business tech podcast called Unevenly Distributed has two episodes out right now, one on 5G and one on the future of tech for education. And next week will feature a metaverse episode that you won't want to miss. That show is also in all the podcast directories. It's on YouTube and at nexavise.com, nexavise.com. So please subscribe, spread the word on both of these, Behind the Games on newoverlords.com and Unevenly Distributed at nexavise.com. Getting some extra subscribers right now would really help both of those shows, and it would help get them going, and we'd really appreciate it. All right, let's start this show. Some of our SWOTOR team raised the point that the easy availability of mounts in SWOTOR is really a highlight. So we're going to talk about that and more on this episode of the SWOTOR Escape podcast from newoverlords.com. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 426. And with me is my co-host, Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Well, hello, Max. It's going great. It was fun getting ready for this show tonight because I went through all my mounts and it reminded me of some of the ones that I have that I never use. So we'll be talking about that later. But in terms of what I've been doing in the game, I've been doing the regs, conquest, seasons, operations, MFN. I'm at the point now with tech frags where I have to spend them or lose them, right? As opposed to earlier.
Use it or lose it, baby.
Yeah, earlier when it was like, oh, when am I going to get the next 6,500 tech frag so I can upgrade my implant? So I have upgraded my implants on my Merc and on my Trooper and on my OG Shadow. And I started another character, but I can't remember which one. So now whenever I want to spend tech fragments, I have to go logging characters in because I can't remember which one I was going to do next. So I think I don't know. But that's not your problem. That's just my problem. I have to actually do that today sometime because I'm getting close to that 11K mark for tech frags. So yeah,
are you just getting a couple implants on each of the alts to make a set, or are you?
No,
Like I took two and went to 330. Yeah.
I have three. Have gone to 330 now, and I'm just doing one. And on this one, I think what I'm going to do is take one implant all the way to 330, and then get because I can't decide on what the second one is going to be. So
yeah, I have three full sets at 330, and then one set that's not yet at 330. The fourth one for the tanking.
Yes. So how's your week been, Max?
It has been good. It has been interesting. I've been doing a bunch of other stuff in Star Wars. I'm going to be done with all of the things that I can get done with the season besides the rep for the meta achievement. So I'm going to have the 100, like I could have had it today, but we were goofing off in our ops. So I only needed 3 this week to finish off the 100 weeklies for the achievement under Legacy. The only thing I won't have done, even though now I'm cranking up 6,000 rep a week and I have all of the tokens I could ever want to get the rep to legendary, just the cap, and I didn't start soon enough, so I won't get the customization for
Me
Chad Bane.
too.
Yep. But I've come to terms with that, and I'm still going to probably be doing weeklies because it's fun. It's a checklist. It's things to do. So that has been fun, and I like a checklist of things to do. Speaking of things to do, I've also been, not on this character, it's on my Trooper. I went to the anniversary vendor. Don't forget, the anniversary vendor has a bunch of decos that you can get on there, including all of the new artwork that they had, that artwork contest, and then some of the things that are in there. I think that they added this. They must have added them this year because I usually go every year and got all of the things. There were enough new things, and some of them you can buy a stack of 999 and add to your collection. Some of them only go to 50, but it was enough to get nearly 7,000 things that I need to click on in my inventory. So I bought all 7,000. Or 6,500 or whatever, but I am not going to click on all of those all at once. So we'll have to see what I'm going to do there. I am also eagerly awaiting 7.1 on the PTS, which is not yet on the PTS, even though Jackie said it would be soon, and Jackie said it last Thursday morning. So we blew off the podcast last week to have just a Q&A fun time stream instead. And here we are, another podcast night. Now they're all off in Star Wars Celebration, at least a handful of them, including Jackie. So maybe that's why they're delaying it a little bit. There's no one there to sort of manage the feedback and the tracking of what's going to need to happen. But they better get 7.1 up by next week, or there's going to be a strongly worded letter that's going to be written. I tell you. So another thing on the side while I've been waiting, do my Galactic Seasons, do my Conquest, log in my characters, spend my tech frags. On the side, there's a couple other games that have been hitting hard. One new one that is in early access, which I've been having a lot of fun with, called V Rising. So if you go to our New Overlords server, our new Overlords Discord server, I actually set up a server for V Rising. It's kind of like Valheim, but it's Valheim if you were, instead of being a Viking, you're a vampire. And there's a couple twists, a couple little functional differences, and but a couple twists which make it really fun. So that has been fun. And then that Sean Murray, I think is his name, Sean Murray, Hello Games, dropped another expedition. So their last expedition, they usually last about 6 weeks. It ended about a week ago. They dropped a new expedition with some really cool stuff yesterday. Day before yesterday? Maybe yesterday.
You're talking about No Man's Sky, right?
No Man's Sky. Sorry, did I not say No Man's Sky? I'm just so excited about it. No Man's Sky. Hello Games, No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky, that dev team, they are a treasure, a natural treasure. Buy once, and I bought it like 2016? I bought the game.
Yeah.
Continual releases of updates, content, these expeditions, which are sort of like challenge modes. And this challenge mode is quite the challenge mode. It's permadeath. It's like a permadeath roguelike, which is painful, yet super fun.
What do you mean by permadeath?
So if you die as you're trying to complete the expedition, your character gets wiped completely, and you need to start over from scratch, or the brand new character, basically. So each of the expeditions you start from zero.
That's what I mean by permadeath.
Yeah,
too.
It's permadeath. So you start from scratch, and you're trying to complete all the achievements. As the 6 weeks progresses, and the community helps rank up the tiers of all the dying players. No, the tier levels of the community progress. The expedition will actually get a little bit easier each of the tiers that it goes up. So maybe that's a mechanic they're trying to build into it. Make it hard for the early birds and make it a little bit easier as it goes along. Anyway, that's been really fun on the side. SWTOR still is the main, and V Rising and No Man's Sky on the side. Jump in our New Overlords Discord if you want to jump on that V Rising server. I've got it open, and I think it can handle up to 40 players. But if we get 10 or so in there, we'll make a clan just so our vampires can all be in a clan. It's in PvE mode, though, not PvP. They have a whole bunch of PvP in that game, and I'm not going to let you come in there and shoot me in the neck, I guess it would be.
So Valheim was a survival game with Vikings, and this is a survival game with vampires.
Yes.
So the next survival game also has to have a V word of some sort.
Yes. It's going to have to be Vectron.
Vision. Yeah, Vision.
But that is that. What else is going on in the news? Let's take a look.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
Going on right now in Anaheim, California, is Star Wars Celebration. We heard that it would be going on. They posted another update today, I believe, earlier today, saying, reminding us what's up, reminding us that there are a handful of them are there, including Charles, who has a few things going on, and hopefully we'll get to sort of maybe see a recording of his panel that he's doing there. And then the rest of the time, I think it's a team of 4. Yeah, Charles, Ashley, Rule, Fred, Newman, and Jackie are all there. They're mostly hanging out at the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes booth, and then a couple other places. Swotorista's there, Kogus is there, a handful of other of the content creators and fan community is there. So if you check out their Twitch stream, their Twitter feeds, you can see some of the pictures of what they've got going on there. It is good as ever. Star Wars Celebration is always fun. I wasn't able to make it this year, but I hope they're having a good time.
And like Max mentioned earlier, a few minutes ago, we are expecting the PTS to be up soon. Jackie posted on the 18th that it would be by the end of May, it would be up. And by the end of May, they did not mean the 23rd, the 24th, the 25th, the
TikTok,
26th, or the
TikTok.
27th.
Yikes.
So they are running out of days in the month of May. But like Max said, I'm sure they're got their hands full right now. But we're looking forward to that. I am looking forward to because I want to see. I do and I don't want to see the Manon daily area. I hope I like it.
Is
I'm
because
afraid I
of your
won't like it.
expectations is why
Yes.
you're not sure if you want to see
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, keep those expectations low, and then when they exceed those expectations, you can be happy. Because happiness is actuality minus expectations. That's how that goes. Yeah, I'm interested to see it too.
Yes.
I really want to see the
Yeah.
Manon Daily area, and I really want to get R4 Anomaly Operation released, and I want to get in there and have fun
Yes.
with it.
Yes. And I'm glad that people will have a chance to test it because then we'll be that much closer to release.
Right. Also in the news, just another reminder update. We've been touching on this week to week. The May in-game events will be wrapping up next week with the All Worlds Ultimate Swoop Rally, which is timely because there are some great mounts you can get from the Swoop Rally, which we will talk about shortly. But first, some community news. I'll start with the operations teams. We've got a whole bunch of operations teams, and 2 of them have at least 1 or 2 openings for DPS. So if you want to get in an Imperial team on a Sunday night or a Republic team on a Monday night, get in our guild Discord, aie-guild.org for our guild Discord. Down in the Star Wars channel, say I want to join the Sunday night ops team or the Monday night ops team. Even if you would just want to sub in, they're always looking for subs right now. I think they each have at least 1 opening for a DPS. So they're subbing in until they fill that spot permanently. But if you're looking for a permanent ops team place, seat, chair, sign up. Get in that channel.
And these are
Say
both
hi.
really cool groups. And also,
Yes.
if you're worried that you don't have experience or you think your gear isn't good or your skills are not good, don't worry.
These are
It's
the
not
kind of
about
teams
that.
designed for you.
Yeah.
It's a little more casual. It's still it's still a lot of fun. They do a lot of things. They do get into, vet modes once in a while, but if you're under geared or just getting into it, these teams would be happy to help you along and help you
Right.
catch
And
up.
they'll explain the fights. Yeah, they're good teams.
Yeah. Excellent.
Also,
Yeah.
I'll just say that we mentioned this a few times before, but First Fridays, Mei Lung is running Flashpoint Fridays, and by First Friday I mean the first Friday of every month. So yeah, if you want to do some flashpoints, that's a good time for that.
It is a great time for that, Seema. All right. If I had a couple credits to rub together, I might be able to buy a couple more mounts and
wield your prosperity as a weapon.
wield my prosperity as a weapon.
Bet you didn't see this coming!
No, we never see that coming. Yeah, so we were in our mandatory fun night with the guild on Tuesday night. B. Kavanaugh, who runs it for us, great, awesome officer of ours, he piped up. We were just we chat all through that 8 to 10 p.m. on Tuesday night. We chat all through that and just talk about lots of things inside of Star Wars, outside of Star Wars. One of the things that he brought up and the point he made was, hey, a cool thing about Star Wars The Old Republic is all of these mounts you can get for free in-game, mounts you get just for doing things, mounts that you can just buy cheaply off of vendors, mounts that you can get for reputation. as opposed to a lot of the other games and MMOs out there. Now, he was specifically comparing it to ESO, which he plays a lot of. And ESO is very limited in the mounts. Most of them come from the cash shop. And there's a good number of them. There's not nearly as, there's not even a quarter of what Star Wars has. World of Warcraft has tons and tons of mounts. And you can get them all kind of the same ways that you can get them in Star Wars, where it's all the variety. You can buy some, you can get a bunch in game. But yeah, Guild Wars has a handful of mounts and then some skins that you can buy, but they're pretty limited. Final Fantasy, they're relatively limited. There's a good number of them and they're growing, but it's relatively limited. Star Wars has tons. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to get into that a little bit. We're going to talk about some of those mounts, remind people of what some of the cool ones are that are out there. Because, yeah, it is pretty cool, isn't it, Seema? Which one are you on right now? That's the Airtech
This is
Coral?
Yep, that's it. That is the Airtech Coral, and that's the one you get for a mission that you pick up on the fleet for killing world bosses.
That's the Airtech Coral. I don't know if I never had the the ultra graphic settings zoomed in far enough, but it's got like little snowflakes on it.
Yeah, I know, or little like mid-century asterisks or something.
Yeah, I don't know what they are, but that was always a great looking mount, and it's one of the oldest ones in the game. Not the oldest, but one of the
Right.
oldest.
But I was really happy to get it back in the day because it's a splash of color.
Yes.
And we do have a lot more color in the game now than we used to, but back in the day, everything was basically a shade of brown.
Brown or gray, yeah. Yeah, gray on the Imperial side and brown on the Republic side. And yeah, all the mounts were brown. All the clothing was brown. it was kind of dull, but yeah, that is a fun one. I've got on my random mount thing, like I've got like the big tank. But I think really the coolest thing to start with is where are all of these cool mounts that you can get and what are all the sources? And one thing not to underestimate or to forget about is there's a ton of mounts that you can just go and buy on the fleet on a bunch of the planets for credits. And it's a paltry, I mean, these days it's a pittance. So if you go to there's a vendor on the fleet in the Outer Ring, and now I can't think of what. It's not in the supplies section, and it's not in. That's the only one I'm sure that it's not in.
Which vendor are you talking about now?
The speeder vendor, which
Maybe
is
GTN section.
It might be in the GTN section, but it's in the Outer Ring, and you can look at it if you go on the map, or you just do a couple laps on the fleet in the Outer Ring, and you'll find that speeder vendor, bunch of speeders that you could just buy right there on the fleet, and then a bunch of other of the planets have an extra vendor as well. There's a Tatooine vendor, and then there's a Tatooine Outlaws Den vendor, and a lot of those you just walk up to the vendor, no rep required, just spend a few credits and get a stack of mounts. That is a great baseline, a great way to go. Then you can start getting into the quests and achievements. So this you might be getting as you complete your progress, your story, and missions inside of Star Wars. The Airtech is a good example of that. And there's, how many Airtech mounts are there? Four of the core 3?
I think there's 3 of the mission ones.
So if you're not familiar or you've forgotten, the Airtech mount quests, missions are on the fleet. You pick them up. I think there's 3 of them. There's one for operations, there's one for flashpoints, and there's one for world bosses. Yeah, those are the 3. And you need to complete a whole list of like most of the flashpoints and most of the original operations. And then for the world bosses,
just to clarify, there's a bunch of Airtech vehicles, but those 3 are for missions. Like
right,
there's one that you can buy on Quesh for like 55,000 credits. There's at least one you can buy in the cartel market on the fleet.
I'm not an Uber
Maybe
collector,
more.
and I have 7 in my mount collection right now for whatever reason. Aerotech Verdant. Oh, look at this green one. Ooh, it's green translucent. I like the
Yeah,
translucent
I do
mounts.
too.
Look
I
at
do
that.
too.
It's like a hollow shell around it.
Yep.
Aerotech Ice, that's the Flashpoint one, isn't it? The Aerotech Ice, the Aerotech Fire, and the Aerotech Coral. Yeah. Look at that Aerotech Fire with the flame job on it. That's looking
Yeah.
good too. And then the
I
Aerotech.
like the stuff with flame jobs on them, or like that um fighter plane angry mouth decal on them too.
Where's
There's
the
a couple of
Aerotech Night Scythe? That's for doing something too. Well, I don't. We're not. This is not going to be an exhaustive list of where to get all of these, but there are some really cool ones. I really like this one, the Aerotech Nethian, which has got like the bones on top, and then one of my favorite ones for matching this armor is the Aerotech Red Spirit, which again is that translucent material texture. But yeah, the Aerotech Coral is a fun one to go off and get because there's a handful of easy bosses, like you killed Gargath and Snowblind and Primal Destroyer, and then you need to go kill Nightmare Penguin 3
right.
times.
Yep.
That's tough for a lot of people, especially right now, because Nightmare Pilgrim is it's quite difficult these days. And
I think it's harder now, even though back in the day when I got it, you had to wait 3 or 4 days before you could even kill him again because you got a debuff.
you can do it with more than 16 people these days. So you could fill up a group with 24 people for one. That is a fun way to do it. You can even kill it with multiple groups. However, if you do that, you might be rolling the dice whether your group is going to get credit for that mount quest. Some of those work the way you would expect that way. Some of them don't. The dev team, I think, was reporting that they were going to try to check out the places where that wasn't counting, like the World Boss Weekly for killing 4 world bosses. If there's 2 groups there and your group doesn't start the fight, you don't get credit. So that might be something to keep an eye on. But yeah, so there's those that you can get from questing. There's one of the chapters in the Knights of the Fallen Empire gives you when you get out into the swamps where what's the ship called? Not the Anvil, but the where's the big
Gravestone.
Gravestone? That sounds right. I don't know why I said Anvil. That was stuck in my head. But I think in one of those chapters, you just get like a regular brown speeder bike as part of that. There are if you win a planet in Conquest, there's a special mount you can get off the Conquest vendors. There's mounts that you get. Oh, the Tauntauns. So there's a whole bunch of Tauntauns in the game. They're an iconic mount. And there's a couple that you can get relatively for free. So the Tundra Tauntaun, I believe, is the one that you get with Tauntaun domestication data on Hoth. So that's a little bit of a mission, a little bit of a little bit of a challenge. What you need to do is you need to buy it. You go out right outside the base on Hoth. You go to the vendor that's standing out there and you get the lures, the food. You go around to the little nests and you try to lure out the Tauntauns. And if you're successful, you get Tauntaun domestication data. And if you get enough Tauntaun domestication data, you can buy the Tauntaun mount. The Strike Force Tauntaun you get from Oricon. You need to do the story and complete both the operations in story mode. No, just complete the first operation. And then I think you get it on your way into the second operation. I don't think you need to complete Palace, just Fortress. But then you get Strike Force Tauntaun, Umbaran Patrol Tauntaun. That sounds like Umbara, but I don't remember where I got that one. So we'll leave that one.
I know
off
there
the list
are
as
at least
well.
1 or 2 mounts you get that you have to have the Umbara rep for. So
This
maybe
might
that's
be
one of
one
them.
of those. But that's another source. So reputation. Why don't you mention some of the? I think you're wearing. Is that a reputation mount?
This one is actually from Galactic Seasons.
Galactic Seasons, which is another source. I didn't even have that on my list. So
Yeah, it's like totally. That is another thing that's like, yeah, basically for free. You just do Galactic
I mean, you
Seasons.
need to do the things and follow
Yeah,
along, but
yeah.
another great source, and there's
Um,
always mounts there that are part of those.
and I think you mentioned Swoop, but let's see if I go to my.
I didn't buy the. I have all the swoop currency, but I didn't buy the swoop mounts yet. You have some of the really good ones though.
Oh, here's the one I have on this character. I don't know if it's one of the real. Yeah, I like this one. I think it looks weirdly short and strange, so I like it.
Yeah,
And it's
a
kind
little
of a
stubby.
luminous golden. Yeah, stubby.
Well, we are
Like
luminous
a.
beings. Luminous beings are we, Seema. So
And I do like, in
it is a good paint
general,
job.
if I can make a, like a general statement for myself, I do like the smaller mounts just because I feel like I'm going faster and also I feel like they navigate more easily on weirdly constructed terrain or like up hills and stuff. That's probably my imagination, but
No,
I do. I do.
well, no, I think it is our imagination. It's not like the mount actually gets caught on things, but that's one of the reasons I very often on a few characters only use a jetpack because that's
Mhm.
the sort of the smallest, most compact form of a mount.
It definitely makes it easier just to personally I mean for your eyeballs to see what's going on the screen.
Right.
Yeah, I mean this is
You're not like
and
clipping
this
into things. That's the HK.
yep. Which has, by the way, a flourish.
Yes. So if you're not familiar with flourish, that's Control Z on any mount that has a flourish, which moves the jets. It moves the two jets to the side on the HK. But the mounts that have flourishes, you hit Control Z and it does the
So which
animation.
is the one that you have right now, right there?
That's an old one. I don't think you can get it anymore. It's
It
the
kind of works with your back
yeah.
appendages.
It sort of like fits underneath them. It fits right in there and it's red. That's the MSM
Yeah.
JT-2 jetpack. That's an older one. You were saying, I thought I had some in here. I'm going to look in collections. The Miram.
Yeah, the Miram.
Where are they?
I have the Miram Badger. Let me get that one out. I think that's
Those are
a
nice little tiny. The Miram
cartel.
Bullfrog. Badger?
Yes, and
I
I
don't think
like
it's a
the
badger. Badger.
the Minas Tira or something like that is also a small one, which apparently I never got around to buying, which I don't know why. But let me get my Miram. Scrolling. I have a number of mounts. Kind of embarrassing.
But if you look through your reputation list, as you hit the higher reputations on a lot of those reputations,
Oh my
there are
gosh, so cute. Look at
yeah, look, a
this.
little stubby. And doesn't it make like a little ring sound when you get on it? I have the sound off at the
I have my
moment, but
I do too.
yeah, I think as soon as you mount up, it goes ring. But look at those reputation vendors as you get those various reputations. Zerka reputation gets you a mount. GSI reputation gets you a mount. Iocath rep vendor. Quat Drive Yards. Do you remember KDY?
Oh yeah.
Some of those you need a currency or like a mission currency that goes along with the reputation to buy it. It's not just credits, but some of them it's just straight up credits. The Manon Submersible. Do I have that on this character? I think so. That is a cool mount. It looks like a submarine.
Yeah, why don't I have that one?
I think I have
See,
that on my
I
Vanguard.
recently, and by recently I mean in the last couple of years, decided
Oh, there's the
that
Merum.
I'm always going to put whenever I get a new mount, it's going to be on this Merc right here. But before that, I put mounts all over the place. So I know I have that Manon submersible somewhere, but apparently
I have
it was
8 Merum
before.
mounts. I have the
Oh,
Merum Dark Wolf, the Merum
that's cute.
Hyacinth, the Merum Iguana, yeah, little green one,
Yeah.
Merum Skink,
Skink, also
Merum
green.
Agama, Miram Bandingo. Oh, look, that's got little wings on it. And the Miram Bullfrog and the Miram Cayman. That's the Bullfrog.
See, oh, those are all very, yeah, I like them.
And that's the Cayman, which is like that other one that you had. Yeah, all the little Miram ones. But yeah, Manan Submersible looks like a submarine. Onderon has, I think, 2 animal mounts that are rep mounts. Umbara has that Tauntaun that I was just riding. Oricon, Voss, Zyos, they all have rep mounts. So check those out as well. Another fun source of mounts is the events, right? So we said swoop races. That's a key one. That's coming up next week. But I think there's at least 2 or 3 from each of the swoop gangs that you can get, right?
Yes, yes.
And then the once a year kind of event. Whoa, what is that one? I love the pod racers. I have a collection
That's
of pod racers.
the Minas Iris. Minas Iris. But
Minas
I don't have
Tirith?
the tiny Minas, the Minas,
Minas Iris.
ah,
Oh yeah, I have that one.
the Minas Tira or Tiras or something like that is another stubby little one.
I wish as you hovered over them, it would tell you the source, because some of these are cartel mounts, and we'll talk about that in a second too, and how you can
Yeah.
get those without paying real world money, which is basically by trying to get them off the GTN, which you can with a ton of them. But yes, this is one of my many pod racers. I think one of the older Zerko. Yeah, here's my favorite pod racer. Now this is pod racing.
Yeah, we both like the red mounts apparently.
I guess so. I like my mounts like I like my women.
Red and glossy.
Red and lots of smoke coming out of them and really loud. I don't know.
And like with a big
I-
shark face painted on the front.
I like my mounts to match my characters. So I've got a character that wears the Sand People armor that either rides this mount or there's actually a better one that one maybe is it the Circa Patroller? Nope, there's a Sand People mount though that looks really good. So if a character's color theme, like I've got a Jedi that wears one of the animated trench coats with the green animation on the back, the lights that light up. He's got
Oh,
green
right,
lightsabers,
right, yeah.
and then he rides either one of those green, like the green Aerotech, the Aerotech Verdant, or he rides the Lucky 77. Yeah, the 77 Lucky Swoop 77, which is a really cool mount. Which, when you mount it, it drops coins on the ground. Sometimes. Let me see. Mount up. Nope. Mount up. Nope. Mount up. It will.
There we go.
Oh,
I
it did it for you. It didn't do it for me. But yeah. So randomly, once in a while,
It
coins
poops out
will
coins.
spill out, which is really cool. Oh, here, Zakuulan Luxury Sidecar. This might be the Zakuul, one of the Zakuul mounts that you can get either by rep or in the story.
I like the speeders that where you look like you're actually driving them, not the ones where you're like relaxing in them for some reason. That always makes me feel nervous.
Unsafe.
Yes.
Like
Right, like it's going
the-
to go off a bridge.
like the the cartel relaxation skiff. I do like
Yeah, see
this
those
one.
those are I have a couple of those, but they're too big for me to like just roam around in.
They are quite large.
But at least that one is I know this makes no sense, but at least it's being driven by someone. Also a piece of software, but still.
How about this one?
Yeah, that's a cool one.
This is the KDY transport skiff. This might be
That
one
looks
of the
like a piece of
KDY,
furniture.
the Quat Drive Yards. If you're not familiar with Quat Drive Yards, it's an awesome flashpoint, and it's a flashpoint. It's one of the best flashpoints in the game, and we forget about it when you do Quat Drive Yards flashpoint. There's 3 phases to the flashpoint. In the first phase, you get one of 3 phase 1 events that you do. In the second phase, you get one of 3 phase 2 events that you do. And in the third phase, you get one of 4 different possible final bosses. So each time you run it, you might get a different combination of phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And it makes it really fun to run that flashpoint over and over and over again. So feel free to grind it out. As you do it, you'll get the KDY currency, which I think is the little KDY construction kit or something like that, which is the currency to buy various things, including a mount like either this mount or another mount like it. But yeah,
And
that is a blast.
Zen's mentioning about the swoop mounts have there's a couple swoop mounts that have a dismount dismount animation, like one where you kick your legs out behind you, but then there's also one where you go extra fast when you first mount, which is fun. So those, I mean, just collect all the swoop race ones.
Rakghoul has some awesome mounts. I have my infected. Yes, this is one of my favorite, the infected Vractal. So this one, you need to get a bunch of the rare currencies that you get from the Rakghoul event. So I think you need canisters and you need barnacles and you need fungus. So those drop off. So you need to be getting those currencies by doing the Eyeless and by doing the missions and getting some of the rare currency drop off of the cultivators that are down in the tunnels. This is one of the 2 mounts that you can get. I think you can get an infected, maybe it's an infected Womp Rat, and then the infected Vractal, and then there's a pet you can get, which is the infected Kowakian Monkey Lizard. But I really was happy to get this infected Vractal for whatever reason. I like the Rakghoul stuff. Life Day. I think I have all of the Life Day events. This is the original. They're not easy. This was the first one. The Zerka's Celebrator.
Isn't that but that's a cartel market, I think.
They might have been, yes, they might have been a cartel pack that came out around the event. You're right.
Yes.
However, if you're going to go after any of those,
I do like that one.
when they're current is the best time to go after them. Bounty Contract. Oh, BC said that his favorite comes from the Bounty Contract event. So that's this one because it's got some really cool animation. Yeah, go back up. Where's my back button? Here we go. This is an old Dolphy video. Easy there on the sound. You see that when you mount up, it shoves off those probe droids. Those are the droids that you send out, the tracker droids that you send out on the bounty contract missions. So yeah, let me go back and show it mounting up again. Here you mount up, and the probe droids hover out from you. That's a very cool one from the bounty contract event. So definitely check that one out. A couple others worth mentioning. Oh, PvP rewards. If you're a ranked PvPer, there are some really cool mounts that you can get if you get to the highest levels of ranked PvP. There's a Rancor that's on fire. I forgot the name of it. And that was one of the first season rewards. When you got the flaming weapons as the reward, the flaming Rancor is a super rare mount that is awesome. It's just great. I really like it. Hey, we were supposed to. Did anyone end up down in the channel down there or show up? I don't think they did. If anyone ends up down in that channel in our Discord down there and has a mount that you want to show off, we're doing it now. We're doing it live. Sten listed out some of his. I think most of Sten's come off the cartel market. So let's talk about that for a second. So cartel market mounts are still really good and useful. They're really nice because you can get them in your collections and then you don't need to go off and re-get it on every character where you want that mount because you can unlock it for your legacy, right? So one of the downsides to some of the in-game mounts, like the Aerotech Coral, for example, is you need to kill the Nightmare Pilgrim 3 times on every single character that you want the Aerotech Coral on. So that's kind of a challenge. Cartel market mounts, though, yes, you could be paying cartel coins. You could be paying real money to get these mounts. There's 2 other ways to kind of get it, though. If you're a subscriber, you're getting a grant of coins every week that you could use to pay for some of these packs and mounts and things like that. And the other way that all of us can get these is by going on the GTN. In fact, we should just go there right now while we are talking. And from time to time, check out the GTN. There's a GTN here on Nar Shaddaa, is there not? I believe there is. Is it? Let's find it while we're talking. But you can get a bunch of the really common mounts off the GTN, the cartel market mounts, the really common ones. You can get them for real cheap off the off the GTN. So these might be cartel market collectible mounts. Then it'll unlock in your collection, and you can spend like in a cartel unlock sale. You can spend just a handful of cartel coins to unlock it for your entire legacy. That is really, really useful. So let's go down here, though. Let's do a search. We'll sort by unit price. So down here for super cheap, these were some mounts. These actually dropped in-game. The Roach Psych, 50,000 credits, 40,000 credits. That's basically nothing these days. Ubrikian Striker, 65,000 credits. Super cheap, fun little mounts, and you can build out your mount collection just by going onto the GTN. Oh, here's some of the Miram ones. Miram Darkwolf, 100,000 credits. Do you have it yet, Seema?
No.
So there you go. Go get it right now. 100K.
Okay.
Do what I say.
Miram.
Joko. So this is kind of a useful tip. If it's sort of grayed out as you're looking at it, that means it's already in your collection for that character. See, unlocked for character in collections. So that's how I know not to get these. The Harati. Why?
About the frog. 150K.
Ando. These Ando mounts are not bad. Bunch of these little Ando mounts, which are pretty skinny and streamlined. But here, we're still not even up. I've got pages and pages. I'm already 5 pages in, and it's still at the 100,000 credit range. Zerka, one of the Zerka mounts. That's a crappy one. Oh, Star Fortress Scout. That is a cool little mount. A little something different. Tons and tons. So check that out. And as each new collection comes out, as things come into the store, people will put the common mounts out of the current Hyper Crate for relatively cheap. That's the time to pick them up on the GTN. You can even get some of the nicer, more rare mounts for a relatively, they're going to be in the millions, but for a relatively good price if it's at the time when they're common, like right when the new Cartel Market collection comes out. So check them out then, scan the market regularly, grab those mounts. Are you shopping still, Seema? What'd you get?
I am. Well, I got the Miram Frog, but now I'm looking at the Minas Wasp, which is another little tiny but cool looking mount.
Oh,
and that is ranged on here from 20 million to $1 billion.
Okay, I'm going to buy this if you don't, Seema. There's a Miram Dart Frog that I do not have.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
You go ahead.
You go ahead.
150K, Miram Dart Frog. Boom. Got it. Now, if you sort by price, here, $1 billion. The Recon Walker. There are a couple walkers in the game that you can get. There's a deco in the game called the Cartel Casino Slot Machine. That deco, if you put coins in that deco, which you can get if someone has that deck. You can't get that. You can't get it anymore. But like our guild has one in each of our guild ships, and then there's a Feluzia Stato is another deco who's a vendor that you can put as a deco in your stronghold, and we have those in our guild ships as well. You can buy the slot machine tokens from Feluzia Stato and use them in that slot machine, and one of these walker mounts is a rare drop off that slot machine. The other place you can get a walker mount, I believe you can still get one from the Life Day or the Nightlife event. You can get it from Conquest. There's 2 you can get from Conquest. One I think you can get from just Conquest in general somehow. I forgot how you get the one that's easier to get, and then the hard to get one is the one for winning a planet. One of them you can only use on the planet that you won, though, so keep that in mind. And then there was one more that was easy to get. I forgot where. Yavin Reputation sells a Recon Walker. So Terraquin is suggesting that it might be the Yavin Reputation vendor. So check that out. Walkers are always fun, and then you don't have to pay 1 billion credits for the Minas Wasp for 1 billion credits. People are just trying to scam with some of this.
They're just putting it up there and hoping. But there's
Now
but like I
something like
said,
the Infernal
there's a
Volptilla, yeah.
there's a Minas Wasp up for 20 million, which is a fraction of 1 billion.
The Overlord's Command Throne, that's probably worth 1 billion these days.
I mean, worth, I don't know, but
Well, not worth, but priced.
yeah.
That's Cybernetic Fractal, which I have as one of my favorite mounts, especially for my droid characters. That's up there at 900 million. Definitely, if you're looking at any of these and you sort by most expensive, do another sort or do another search. Like Cybernetic Fractal, it's up here for almost 1 billion credits. But if we find, yes, it's down here also at 750 million. So make sure you're doing another search and looking for the lowest priced version of it as well.
That is good advice for anything you're buying on the GTN. Make sure you sort appropriately.
One of the things that you should that we could probably finish up talking about, which Corley brought up, is the achievements for collecting various mounts. So if you go down into Legacy, I pinned it. I pinned it right here so I could get back to it really quick. Legacy Possessions. Under Possessions, there's a vehicle category, and then there's a bunch of achievements. There's not all that much interesting that you can get from them. I think there might be a title here and there. But there's achievements that you can get for collecting a bunch of these in-game collectible mounts. All of these mounts that are no, I don't think they're not all available anymore. So I was going to say all of these mounts are available in-game to get, but they're definitely not. Yeah, because here's
So
the Circus
before you
Celebrator.
go after a particular achievement, make sure that everything on it is still available
Yeah. This
instead
one,
of finding out on your last one.
Throne Owner, is one of the achievements, and you have to collect all 3 of the thrones. I have the Overlord's Command Throne. I think I might have a Dominator's Command Throne in storage somewhere, but I don't have all 3. Bunch of them in here that you can get because they're in-game, a bunch of them that are difficult to get. The Dessler, I think it's the Dessler Avenger.
I mean, did we talk about the ones that drop in operations?
Did we sort of skip over that? I think we did.
Because that's why I had my...
And there's some of that in this achievement list.
Yes.
There are tons of mounts that drop in operations. Some of them drop in story mode. If you do Eternity Vault, for example, you'll get one of these Tursa mounts. Almost everybody who's done Eternity Vault has them now. So that's a good one to go off and get. And then there's the ones that you need to be doing master mode operations to get.
This one, though, this one that I had with the shark face is from Explosive Conflict.
Shark face, hoo ha ha. Explosive Conflict, you said?
Yeah.
And if you do Master Mode Explosive Conflict, which Thon is sad that he has not done, you can get the Avalanche Heavy Tank, which
He's
is
working his way in that direction, though.
very, very difficult to get these days, as is the Brontes, Wings of the Architect mount for Master Mode Brontes. Amazing mount that looks like Doc Ock arms coming out of your back. So yeah, a lot of very cool. Is that the tank?
Yeah, Avalanche.
Avalanche Heavy Tank. When this mount first came out, so we got that back when we were doing old school ops. When this mount first came out, it was slower than all of the other mounts. It wouldn't go full speed, but you wouldn't get dismounted. It had like extra dismount protection. They steered away from that. They normalized all of the mount speeds, but that was a cool little effect for that mount. But yeah, so check out the achievements. Check out all of these. So I think we've sort of done the full rundown there for you. Check out the vendors. Let's go back through our list. Check out the vendors. Check out all of the mounts that you can just get by getting out there and questing. Another category we skipped over is crafted mounts. There are a set of crafted mounts. They're all by Cybertech. There's two old school ones. You say no?
There's one for Artifice also.
Is there one for each of the professions? For those Spectron ones? Does the profession make it, or does the Cybertech make it for the profession?
The Cybertech makes them, I'm pretty sure. But they're for gathering. There's a scavenger, a bioanalysis,
and those are all Cybertech made. Yeah, the
right.
Vectron scavenger, the Vectron bioanalyzer, the Vectron, and then there's one that Artifice can make.
I think I read that. I haven't made it, so I'll have to verify.
So definitely by Cybertech. There's two old school mounts that Cybertech can make. Also,
they're like bikes.
And then there's the Vectron mounts that you can still get. I think you need to do one of the tiers of slicing missions. It's not grade 11. I think it might be like the grade 10 or grade 9 slicing missions. There's a relatively easy way to get those schematics for them, but you'll have to look that up. And then you can craft some mounts. Back in the day when there weren't very many mounts in the game, we had our Cybertechs crafting mounts for everyone in the guild because it was a big deal. So we were like collecting mats and shipping them off to our Cybertechs so we could make sure we could get those mounts. So yeah, there's all the Vectron mounts, Starry Saber that you can craft, and then there's the old school Cybertech ones. We talked about drops. The Dessler.
Yeah, I think I was just thinking of the one you can make for archaeology, but the Cybertech makes it.
All of the operation drops. Oh, excellent. We mentioned the Dessler Avenger, which is if you go to CZ198 and you go down the elevator, you're down in that lower area and you go up the ramp, so you're sort of on the overlooking the lower area where you're killing the guys that have some of the extra Kolto tanks. There's a spot over on the side which has Dessler's assistant most of the time. Most of the time, there's a squad of minor Zerka guys, and then there's a guy by a nice-looking mount called Dessler's assistant. In rare cases, instead of Dessler's assistant standing there, Dessler himself will be standing there. If you kill Dessler, when Dessler shows up, you get the Dessler mount. So that is cool. And then we also mentioned all the reputation mounts. So Zerka, GSI, Iokath, Quat Drive Yards, Manan, Onderon, Umbara, Oricon, Voss, Ziost. All of those have reputation mounts available. We talked about event mounts. Don't miss Swoop Racing next week. A bunch of mounts you can get off of that from all of the speeder bike gangs. Then there's Nightlife, Life Day, Bounty Contract, Rakghoul. All of those have mounts associated with them. Is there a mount? Oh yeah, for the Feast of Prosperity has a mount.
Mm-hmm.
Where's our Feast of Prosperity with a bunch of food hanging off the back?
Yeah, what is that one called? Because I have it.
If you're a PvPer, You can get mounts by doing ranked PvP. And then, as we said,
This thing.
there it is. With the food hanging off the back.
And you
Looks
can
delicious.
you can I mean you need the currency, but you can buy it. The vendors are upstairs here.
So you need to have had the currency. Hey, we got a couple people.
Yeah.
Hello. Tarquin and Machete are on a couple of their mounts here. What is this? So if you click on someone and look at their buffs, so that's the Praxon
Praxon
Echo.
Echo.
And then
Ubiki Crimson Claw.
Triumbra mount.
Oh, what's that? That's cool.
I don't think that's the Snowstorm Assault Speeder. I did not get that one. That was one of the holiday ones I did not get. Where's my Harati Scrapper? I don't think you can get that anymore. Or is there a way to get that these days? It went out of the game and then it came back. That was always one of my old school favorite ones as well. But yeah, and then we wrapped up by talking about the cartel market and getting those off the GTN, either by spending the coins that you get from your monthly grant, or by keeping an eye on the GTN. Comb that GTN regularly, and you can get a lot of great mounts. You can get a lot of cheap ones, and then you can get some of the more expensive ones. Sometimes someone will post it up there cheap, and sometimes while they're current, while the packs are current, you can get some of the excellent mounts. And sometimes if they're a really cool mount and you buy two, then you can wait a month or two and sell it for hundreds of millions of credits. All right. Anything else on the mounts? I think this is one of the Miram. Is that the Miram Iguana? Yes. That is a cool mount. Anything else before we wrap up for this one, Seema, on the mounts?
Yeah, Ragebound Monolith. Is that from Ziost?
It
Maybe.
does look like a Ziost mount. Those are the monoliths.
Yeah. I don't have that, and I don't have not a Varactyl. What are those things on Voss?
Varanticus.
Varanticus, yes. I'd like to get a Varanticus
I do
mount.
have a Varanticus.
I need to work on that.
I have a Marshwood Varanticus.
I think I have some shopping and achievement hounding in my future. Because, yeah,
This is my Cthulhu mount, the Bog Gladiopod.
I like the six-legged mounts, like the Accolades and stuff. I like the way they walk.
I like here's some of my favorites down the side. I really like my Volptillas.
Yep. I remember when you got that one.
I have that one and the red one. And
I like them both. I was gonna say I like the red one. It
like
has like a love look.
the Hollow Rancor, which is actually a robot Rancor, which is cool. I like the Arclight Nova because it's big. It's a big old spaceship. I like. Oh, here's the Kingpin mount from the Nightlife event. One of the Nightlife event mounts. I like the Cybernetic Vracto. Certainly like that, especially on my droid mounts. I like a lot of the Vractals. I often, and this is something Corley mentioned, I often use a mount that's relevant to the planet as well. What is this? A Tellurian Thurb.
That's from Galactic. Wait, or is that the Festival of Feasty
Feast of Prosperity? I don't know.
No, I think it's Galactic Seasons.
I think that might have been
No,
last.
Thurb. I don't know. Actually, I do know. I wrote it down, didn't I?
Oh, the Corellian Star Drive.
That is from the feast. The Thurbs are from the feast event.
This is there's an old school version of this and a newer school version of this, the Corellian Star Drive Vanguard. It
This
controls
purple
the
thing
hatch pops
that's
open.
like a tauntaun with blades for arms is a
Onderon, right?
Umbara.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one of my favorite, the Harati Scrapper.
Oh
With
yeah,
the
I like
smoke
this
trail
bird.
coming out of it. And
I have a bird one that I like too.
yeah, the jeweled, that's the
Yeah.
jeweled Oro bird. Yeah, I think I've got one of those. All right. Yeah. No, what is that? That's the arid teethek. Is this my ember scale? Yeah. And then this is another one that Corley mentioned was the ember scale dewback because it's got the pulsing red ember scale.
Yes. Yes, I like that one.
Quite cool. All right. But I think that is good for us and good to wrap it up. I think we can ride on out of here, Seema. You see what I did there?
That's right.
With that, we can take our EPC 426 droid and he can ride on out to broadcast this podcast to everybody out there. To keep from missing out, please subscribe on New Overlords, to New Overlords on YouTube and iTunes and all the places where this podcast shows up. And subscribe to our other couple podcasts. Subscribe on the YouTube channels in particular and all of the platforms because that's really going to help us get those things kicked off as well. That's Behind the Games, which is hanging off newoverlords.com and our New Overlords channel, and the Unevenly Distributed Business Tech Podcast on nexavize.com.
I think I'm going to go
NEXAVIZE.com.
play The Day We Fought Space.
Yes, which was the most awesome game that just came out for iOS that we
Yesterday.
interviewed that
Or today, but
Yes.
yesterday for me.
launched
Yeah.
today. And that was our most recent episode of Behind the Games. And you can find all the links to everything for this show and for Behind the Games on newoverlords.com. All of the subscribe links are right there. You can also follow me on Twitter at Max the Gray, and I'll keep you up to date. And you can join our New Overlords Discord, and I've got the feeds I'm posting to there regularly as well to keep everything up to date there. For guild information, AIE, Alea Iacta's Guild on Starforge, and in all the games that we can play, you can check out aie-guild.org, and the Discord link for our guild is in the upper right of aie-guild.org. Jump in there. Jump in the Star Wars The Old Republic channel. We have guilds on the Republic and the Imperial side of Starforge. We would love to have you, and we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.